Third down and 20.
Kicking it off is someone that we even debated on if they should properly be on here, and that's Antonio Gibson. Frank, you don't think Antonio Gibson should be on this panic meter?
No, I really don't. I mean, I can at least here's the thing. I can understand why people are panicking. And the reason why people are panicking is that it just seems like a lot of fantasy players have this unrealistic expectation that the running back that they like that's a young, good running back is going to be on the field every snap, and that's even a good thing that they're on the field every snap. I also bring into question to a certain extent. To me, Antonio Gibson, week 1, he got a huge volume of targets. Week 2, it was obviously down. You would like to see him in that 2-minute drill, that passing scenario. But, man, it's early in the season. I think from a usage perspective, it's very encouraging. I just want to see Antonio Gibson get to play up against these teams like the Cowboys and just some easier competition to a certain extent in terms of the front seven. And for this offense to finally get going, because they haven't really been able to have that level of consistency with just guys getting hurt early in the season. To me, Antonio Gibson, it's an efficiency problem, not a volume problem. I do think that efficiency will follow very shortly.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I pretty much agree with Frank. I'm not worried about him. He's still getting the volume that you want him to get. It's just kind of been 2 air games, but I'm not worried about Gibson.
My argument with the whole volume thing is okay, yes, I would love for my running backs to get a crazy, ridiculous amount of targets and a crazy, ridiculous amount of carries. But at a certain level, you give up efficiency for all of those carries and all of those targets. And I do not want to do that. I would much rather have an Alvin Kamara he's getting a healthy amount of carries, but over a Derrick Henry who's just, it's just a bajillion 25 carries. But then you can you have the games where he just is running into a brick wall. Like for longevity, for consistency, for all these reasons, I'd rather just have that Alvin Kamara where he's playing only 60 to 70% of the snaps, but he's very efficient and he's still getting the amount of targets and carries that you need for him to be an RB1.
Fair. I agree with that. I also think it means more. Not to make this about Najee Harris, but Najee Harris was in the whole time first week and didn't really do a whole lot. All right. Jake, wait. I just need to get that shot in. Jake, Marquez Callaway. What's the panic meter on him?
I mean, personally, not high because I was never in on him. But if I was a Callaway owner,
say you just traded a second for Callaway, how are you feeling right now?
Very, very bad about myself. Very bad about myself. Actually,
would you say you're a clown?
Oh, I would classify myself as a clown if I had traded a second for Marquez Callaway. I had not. For those listeners, I did not, but we had a league mate that did, and it's a clown move. But basically, I was never in on Marquez Callaway. The hype on him was absolutely absurd. People were saying he's going to go for over 1,000 yards this year just because there was no targets to throw to on the Saints, which is just a dumb argument. Just because you can always have the Alvin Kamaras, or you could just run the ball with two very good now one very good running back in Alvin Kamara, and Tony Jones has looked pretty solid. But I never understood it. He was like an undrafted free agent. Why was the hype there? It made no sense.
All right. First, one question. Would you rather have Marquez Callaway or Devontae Parker?
Can I take the roster spot?
Give me a roster spot. Actually, give me 2 second-round picks, actually.
My second is everyone, let's see your hands. No one's cheating on this one. No one's cheating. How many passing yards does Jameis Winston have this year? Through 2 games.
Maybe
I think it's
264.
It's around there. It's under 300 yards.
256.
All right, Frank, you just nailed right in between it. It's 259. 259 yards for Jameis Winston through 2 games. That's awful. That's worse than Cam Newton levels.
Yeah.
I told you when when Jameis was announced the starter, I told you we were not going to see Tampa Bay Jameis Winston because Sean Payton was not going to let him go out there and just throw 5 interceptions a game. He wasn't going to let him do it. He's going to make him play controlled and play low key. And when he has the opportunity, like we saw week 1, where he launched that like 60-yard touchdown to Deontay Harris, like he's going to let him take his opportunities, but only every now and then. And that's, I think, what you're going to say here. And it's going to be a heavy dose of Alvin Kamara. And that's just how the Saints are going to play.
Well, what do you say to the people that are saying that he just went up against good corners? I've seen that's a very popular argument.
Lounis used it last week with Jair.
Well, no, I used it for the Green Bay game because Jair Alexander is one of the premier corners in the NFL. To have like pretty much zero production against Carolina either. We saw Corey Davis have a good game against them.
Carolina's like corners, they're
I like JC Horn, but it's
they're
not
okay.
Like,
they're fine. It's a rookie corner.
Yeah.
It's a rookie corner.
JC Horn's a stud with a capital S.
He's still a rookie corner.
But he's not
Okay,
like Jared.
A, he's better than you. B, I would take him over
If
Bradbury.
Oh.
Easy.
Like right now or like
Ooh.
long term? I can understand long term, but right now?
Both.
I don't
Right
know.
now, if you had one play this second, I'm taking James Bradbury.
Yeah, James Badberry. Let's move on.
All right. This panic meter is interesting. Lounis, we got you and CEH.
CEH. I know R-Dynasty was like, what's that like scene from SpongeBob? Remember it's like the butterfly in the bubble and then like the whole town's on fire. Like everyone's freaking out. That was like R-Dynasty after that game with the CEH owners. I'm not giving up on it. Like I know the PFF JT. I know you sent that PFF grade. PFF has rated him pretty shitty this year. That was just was a sucking. I'm pretty sure it's the first lost fumble of his career that he had on Sunday night. I just think the Chiefs O-line starting 3 rookies. I think they've played 2 pretty good run defenses. It's not like Jacobs really had a productive rushing game against him either. I know he's playing a little bit hurt, but a lot of his points just came from 2 red zone touchdowns. I'm not giving up on CEH yet. I saw some people trading him for like a contender first. I'm not selling at that price. If I could buy it at contender's first price, I actually might. But I don't think that's the reality with some owners, even though I've seen a decent amount online are. What's that for, Jake?
Take him.
Take
him.
You would sell for a contender first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Damn. I would buy for a contender first.
Take him. The only reason you are still saying this is because he's on the Chiefs offense.
Well,
the only reason
he was a first round pick.
Yeah, and he was a surprise first. He was a surprise first round pick. People were surprised he was the first round pick taken over the likes of Jonathan Taylor.
But I still had him kind of like ranked around guys like Akers coming out. I liked him more than Gibson coming out.
I saw a tweet this weekend, and it said CH is a scat back that doesn't catch any passes.
That's pretty funny.
I know because it's fun. It's funny because it's true, and like his best quality in college was his receiving ability, and he's done very little of it.
I think.
Who are you gonna throw it to? You're gonna throw it to CH, or you're gonna throw it to Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill?
I'm not saying it's a knock on him, but people are still rating him this high because he's on the Chiefs offense.
Mahomes doesn't need to check the ball down. Patrick Mahomes can just run backwards because he can throw it a mile. Like he doesn't need.
I mean, you don't like if. He had a good enough rookie season. I think he had around 1,100 scrimmage yards for me to know he can play. I just think the Chiefs O-line with 3 rookies and playing 2 pretty good front sevens, like I'm not selling yet at that contender price. I know you guys are. I'm not selling for a contender first. I would buy it at a contender first.
I do.
Frank's on my side. Let's go.
When I did the evaluating the 2020 rookie class during this offseason, I said he was a sell easy for me. He still is at this point. Like if I go to keep trade cut and I look up his rankings, I'm interested to see how
you could get more than a contender first for him too.
People are selling
easy
for
to
that.
get more than that.
Yeah, I think you can get more, but like if you told me that was the best offer I could possibly get, I'd probably take it. I don't think he's ever going to be what he was drafted to be, like what everyone thought when he was drafted. When people thought he was drafted, they're like, oh, he's in the Chiefs offense. He's going to do exactly what Kareem Hunt did. He's going to come in and be an amazing running back, this and that. Yeah, he's not like they're going to still use Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill in the passing game. And at the end of the day, they're not going to run the ball that much. And when they do, they're likely going to be blowing some team out, and they're going to turn around and they're going to go, all right, CH, get on the bench. We're going to hand it to Darrell Henderson or Darrell Williams so you don't get hurt.
Players he's ranked around are Jalen Waddle, Deontay Johnson, Zeke Elliott, A-Rob, Rondell Moore, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Rodgers, Cortland Sutton. There are very few. Yeah, I don't think I think I'd rather have all those guys over CH at this point.
I agree.
I don't know, man. I kind of still like CH a little bit.
Same.
I've been out on him for a while,
but I think it is.
I also like the percentage. I also like the percentage of RB touches he's having in that offense. It's pretty much been his backfield complete.
I think that the panic. I'm not panicked. Okay, if I owned him and I bought him early in the offseason, okay, I definitely am a little bit spooked, but I'm not going to sell. Like, I think I'm just going to hold for the upside. I still think that there's upside in that offense.
I think he's fine. I think that's like the highest compliment I get. Like, he's fine. The issue is though that the r/Dynasty and Twitter and whatnot had hyped him up so much to the point of he was going above Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert and Tua and everyone else.
Okay, well, if that's aside from Tua, if it's a Superflex league, yeah, that's ridiculous.
But there's that, and then you had Theo Riddick last year saying he should be the 1-1 in redraft leagues and whatnot. Like, the hype on him got so crazy to the point of now.
Theo Riddick?
No, not Theo Riddick. God, Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick. Yeah, not Theo Riddick. Sorry.
Theo Riddick.
I was so confused.
The running back from Detroit.
We're close on that one.
not quite. Not quite.
I mean, I got Dynasty football in mind. We got close.
I may reach out to Theo Riddick, former running back in the NFL, for a formal comment.
Would you rather have Theo Riddick or CH right now? I don't know. But I did want to make a little side comment. We just talked about CH and Marquez Callaway, and if we look back just 2 episodes ago to Lounis's hot takes, we had Callaway breaks 1,000 yards this season. And
well, no, that was one of the hottest. And CH,
that was a middle one. CH finishes top 7 in their position.
Listen,
not looking too hot already.
Listen, the top 10 running backs right now is a shit show. RB7 is Dale Henderson. I'm pretty sure RB9 is Tony Pollard. I should have just made the Dale Henderson one my prediction instead. I'd be coming in here gloating. I still have faith in CEH. I still believe in him. I think they play 2 tough to run defenses. Bounce back. I'm buying at a contender.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, you're right, JT. Him and Dynasty nerds were like one-upping each other for how many receiving yards Marquez Callaway could get.
There were people in the Dynasty subreddit who were trading Devontae Smith for him straight. And I'm not a big Devontae Smith guy, and I still would have rather had Devontae Smith.
That's absolutely insane.
Yes, I wish I could pull it up for you guys.
I refuse to believe that those people exist.
Yeah, like maybe it's just a Reddit
absolutely
troll. It could be a Reddit troll, but
it has to be. No one in their right mind, if after they drafted Devontae Smith, is trading him for Marquez Callaway.
People were trading 2 seconds and late first for Marquez Callaway.
Do you know how many
Devontae Smith was drafted around the late first?
Do you know how many yards Marquez Callaway has after 2 games?
28.
39.
22 yards. 22 yards. This man has 3 receptions for 22 yards.
Yeah, so far, if you gave up 2 seconds for him, your seconds are both worth about 11 yards each. So
it's better than Trey Sermon, who I like.
Yeah,
Trey Sermon's worth 8 yards and a concussion.
Right. Enough clowning on those guys. Let's just move on to someone I also want to clown, though, to be fair. Mike Davis. I've always been out on Mike Davis, but especially this year where he was
think he's about to lose his starting job.
He might. Well, he got so high in the ADP where I was like, all right, what are we doing? Like, I get that he was solid on the Carolina offense, but this is a completely different Atlanta offense where even Todd Gurley's ghost, who I still like better than Mike Davis, was like struggling to do anything. Like, he just needed touchdowns to be relevant. And at this point, that's where we are with Mike Davis too. Like, he needs touchdowns to be any kind of relevant, and he's just not going to get those touchdowns. And now, like Luna said, he might lose his starting job. I don't know what happened with Cordell Patterson from last year, because last year the Bears just had him running like sweeps the whole time. Like they had no inside game. They really didn't throw him the ball a whole lot. Now all of a sudden he's like CMC light on the Falcons, just running inside, running outside, catching passes. I don't know what changed with Cordell Patterson. Obviously, this could be a fluke and just a random Tampa Bay defense that didn't really prepare for Cordell Patterson, because honestly, other than his return game, like who would? But I don't know. I've been out on Mike Davis. I was out on Mike Davis when they signed Wayne Gallman and Quadre Olson. I was like, these guys might give him a shot.
I feel like Cordell Patterson has a yearly flash in the pan.
He does.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not too worried about it, to be honest, if I'm a Mike Davis owner. Not that I think Mike Davis is an extremely valuable dynasty asset by any means. He's a 28-year-old running back that his only good season was as a backup to McCaffrey, who got hurt. So I'm not like saying he's a valuable asset here, but he'll have his games coming up.
So Mike Davis is the classic trap that I think a lot of people fall into in the startup draft in dynasty leagues, and that it's one of the reasons why I would much rather take basically any halfway decent receiver over a Mike Davis, is because, like JT said, you were investing in an old running back, a guy that's been a backup for a large part of his career. Okay, even if he's like halfway decent his this year, right? He's like a top 24 fantasy back. I feel like you have a pretty decent shot at drafting a top 30 receiver around the spot that he's taken. Like we did a dynasty draft not too long ago. I'm not exactly sure where Mike Davis went, but I'm assuming it was around like round 10, 9, 8, somewhere around there, probably more on the 10 to like 11 side. But there are plenty of receivers that you could have taken in that part of the draft, especially really high upside young receivers that could, not only outproduce Mike Davis this year, but obviously for a long time. So I just think that going back, because we talk about startup drafts a lot, avoid these dudes. These are the running back bait players that you can take at the end of the draft. Unless you're getting a running back at a really good value, I would much rather take like any other position than these Mike Davises or the Gus Edwards when they have their value inflated. And I think a large part of this due to like redraft and being like, oh, well, I need a third running back here in round 8, round 9. Like there's no running backs left. Let me take one instead of taking, I feel like a Deebo Samuel you kind of got around him or maybe not him. But Marquise Hollywood Brown, you could have easily had. You probably could have had Marquise Hollywood Brown 2 rounds later than Mike Davis.
Probably.
So that's the bait. Don't take the bait in those drafts. And it happens every year with a new dude. You have these guys that get hyped that are backup running backs, and you get boned.